The beautiful Aegina with its pine trees, sandy beaches and the famous temple of Athea is only an hour by boat from Piraeus. Aegina, in the center of the Argosaronic, immediately conquers the visitor. One can see this for oneself as soon as one confronts its enchanting port. An improvised fruit market is set up on the kayaks, which are loaded with various tasty fruits. Pottery is a tradition on it. The large mansion of Voyages has been described as a work of art, as have many other buildings. Opposite Voyages' mansion, in the shadow of some large trees, is a square with a one-horse carriage run. Proceeding further into the town, we encounter the Tower of Markelos in an open space. This is a medieval building which was used by the first Greek government after the revolution of 1821. Near the Tower of Markelos, there is yet another building of great importance for modern Greek history. This is the government house, the house of Capodistrias, the first governor of a free Greece, from which he governed the country for 2 years after its independence, when Aegina was the temporary capital of Greece. And on the second road, parallel with Athea Street, an extension of Spiridon Roidis Street. The coastal road continues to the neighborhood of Plakakia, with its beautiful villas, amongst which the house of Nikos Kazantzakis, the internationally acclaimed Greek novelist, is austere and simple. The Kapralos Museum is a short distance from Kazantzakis' house. The great sculptor's works, dating from 1963 until his death in 1993, are exhibited here. It is said that the large sculpture entitled Mother, and situated outside the museum next to the sea, represents the artist's own peasant mother. A walk along the waterfront is a delight. The wide coastal road, with much space for pedestrians to walk next to the sea, runs in both directions from wheeled vehicles, and for this reason there is a small dividing lane in the center. On the side of the sea, the old buildings stand in a row with cafes. The archaeological site of Kolonas is a very important archaeological site, not simply because of the ruins of the famous temple of Apollo and other buildings, but because it contains the remains of 10 successive prehistoric settlements dating from the late Neolithic period, 5th millennium BC, until the Mycenaean period, 16,000 to 1200 BC. All the finds are gathered on a hill to the north of the port, at the peak of which stands another small tourist resort, smaller than Souvala, with a pretty little port. Souvala is known for its hot springs, which can help with arthritis, rheumatism, skin problems, and gynecological problems. It is also a tourist center, and there are regular direct connections with Piraeus. Paleochora is another mistras. It began to be built in 896 after a fierce raid by Saracen pirates on the coastal town of Aegina. Centuries later, it became the capital of the island, to be abandoned at the beginning of the 19th century, when the inhabitants slowly began to return to the sea and rebuild the new Aegina. The small, brilliant white nunnery of Agia Caterini is surrounded by vegetation, the tall cypress trees standing out. Agios Nectarios is an imposing church with 2 tall belfries and 4 rows of windows with red arches. The architecture of the church is reminiscent of that of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople. At the top of a beautiful pine-clad hill is one of the most beautiful temples of ancient Greece, the Temple of Aphaea. It was not by chance that this spot was chosen as the location of the temple. The panoramic view from here over the charming Gulf of Aegina Marina is outstanding. From Aphaea, the road descends with many bends to reach the pretty Gulf of Aegina Marina after 4 kilometers. This was once a fishing village with 2 or 3 tavernas, but has today grown, thanks to its wonderful sands and dense pine forest, into a large tourist center which in the summer bustles with life. Villas, hotels, restaurants, bars are the new facilities of the Center for the Care of Wild Animals and Birds, which takes care many of the wounded and sick wild animals and birds. The archaeological site of the sanctuary of Zeus Hellenius is placed at Sphirychthys. From a distance, one can discern the broad, grand stone staircase next to a Hellenistic wall. On the upper part of the staircase to the left is the Byzantine church of the Taxiarchis, which used to be the cathedral church of a monastery. Above the sanctuary of Zeus Hellenius stands the mountain with the ancient name of Oros, and which is directly associated with the cult of Zeus on the island. There is along the road to Portus a little house, an isolated and serene fishing village with few houses and a little taverna built on a rise. A beautiful pebbly beach stretches out to the right, whilst to the left, next to the road which leads to the north, is the small artificial harbour which protects the boats in the area. On the southern side of the peninsula, the organized beach of Aeginetissa most definitely attracts the visitor's eye.